It was 3 in the morning when I heard a loud knock from the front door. I was still awake because I was finishing a backlog from work. I immediately opened the door and saw my mother in law tipsy and drowsy. She almost stumbled, but I caught her before she fell to the floor. I took her to the bedroom when she started to notice that it was me helping her. It's you! You're the poor girl that my son married? Look at you! You're such a loser. She said those in a very disrespectful voice. I did not mind her. Let me help you change your clothes. But she slapped my hand and lay down instead. Look at your face. You look like a soggy potato. You're an ugly duckling. I wonder what your mother looked like. She must be like you, poor and ugly. She laughed at the insult that she threw at me. I was hurt by what she said, but I'm already used to it. There was never a day that she did not insult me. She always reminds me of how low I was and how derogatory my family's social status is. I kept everything to myself. I allowed her to hurt me with her words, because I know that one day everything she said will return to her and haunt her. When she kicked me, I helped her lie on the bed, and I fell to the ground. She is already in her 50s, but still enjoys partying all night with her friends. Do you see this? This is a 30-carat gold ring, which you will never have. As she laughed, she came near me and spit on me. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were a trash can, because look at you, a garbage. I can feel my heart breaking into pieces. My tears slowly fell down my cheek. She's a monster. I will never forget her mistreatment of me. And because of that, I left her and went to the master's bedroom. I lay beside my husband, who was peacefully sleeping. I never agreed to have her live with us, but my husband insisted, saying that his mother was all alone and she needed a family. But ever since she lived with us, I never had peace. The next day she came home with a new bag, and the moment she walked past me as I was busy working, she stopped. She looked at me and flaunted her bag. Poor you! You could never have this bag when you were young, right? You only have this comfortable life when you marry my son. You're such a gold digger. I am not a gold digger. She slapped me right after I responded to her. How dare you raise your voice at me? You have no right to do that. You also have no right to insult me in my house. My mother-in-law was fuming mad. She grabbed my chin and held it really tight. Her grip was painful. Under your own house, my son owns this, so I own this. You never gave a single penny to build this. You only get to taste this lavish life because you seduced my son. You are a whore. She let go of me peacefully and slapped me one more time. She immediately left me and I cried. This was not the first time that she physically abused me. Since she came to live with us, physical and verbal mistreatments have been typical for me. Days passed and her insults were still evident. Every day, she reminds me of how worthless and poor I am, while she wastes all her or my husband's money as she goes out with her friends almost every day. One day, I received a call from my mother. Hello, dearest. It's been a month since we talked. Can I see you today? Let's meet at the cafe. Sure, Mom. I'm done with work for today. We can meet at 5 o'clock. See you. After all the insults and mistreatment I experienced, a refreshing feeling finally came. I missed my mother so much and was desperate to see her. As I arrived at the cafe, the staff greeted me nicely, as if they were so excited and amazed to see me. Welcome back, Ma'am Lowe. We missed you. One of the cafe staff greeted me. I smiled at him as he took me to my favorite spot. We reserved this spot just for you and your mother. Thank you so much, Andrew. Keep up the excellent work. He smiled back at me and went to the cashier's booth. After 3 minutes of waiting, I saw my mother exit the car as our driver opened the door for her. She's wearing Prada sunglasses that I gifted her last Christmas. She still looks impressive, even in her 50s. As she entered the establishment, everyone greeted her. Of course, they would welcome the boss if they wanted to be commended. She sat across from me and greeted me with the sweetest smile. I miss you so much, I told her as I leaned forward to kiss her on the cheeks. It seems that you really missed me. I was surprised that you did not decline my invitation, she jokingly said. I laughed at her statement, and we just talked for minutes until she noticed the bruises on my chin. Her eyes went wide. What is that? She tried to reach out for my chin, but I moved away. This is nothing, Mom. My mother looked me in the eye, the scariest stare to be exact, and I know that whenever she gives me that look, it's over for me. I have to tell her what happened. I heaved a sigh. Fine, it's Alexis. Again? I swear to God, Lauren, I will sue that girl. I told you that I should have taken legal actions against her mistreatment of you. Since you were young, I never laid a hand on you, and I will never let another woman hurt you. My mother raised her voice, so we caught everyone's attention in the cafe. I tried to calm her down. Mom, I'm fine. I can handle myself. No, it's not okay with me. When will you keep on pretending that you just have a simple life? Why can't you tell her that you are a daughter of a multimillionaire businessman and woman? Do you want your dad to know about this? No, I don't want him to get angry. Exactly, so listen to me. Tell that girl to stop hurting you, or I will make her life scramble. I can do that in just a snap. I completely forgot the influence that my parents held. They own chains and chains of businesses in the country. I always have lived a comfortable and wealthy lifestyle, but I do not want to be envied or labeled as superior by anyone. That is why, as much as possible, I try to hide my real identity, especially from my mother-in-law. Although my husband knows everything, I still told him to never worry about me. How about Diego? What is his stance on all of this? He wants me to tell my mother-in-law the truth so I can put her into place, but I refused. My mother heaved a big and loud sigh of frustration. Just remember that I trust you and please take good care of yourself. I promise. I hope with that word my mother has been reassured. I went home that day full of joy. My mother truly brings me comfort and safety. I saw my evil mother-in-law waiting for me as I entered the house. Where have you been? She asked me as if I had done something wrong. I went out to see my mother. Oh, your beggar mother. You only have her as a friend because who would hang out with an indigent person like you? Of course, someone from your kind. I clenched my fist, controlling myself from saying something. I did not listen and continued walking towards our room when she called me again. Aha, where do you think you're going? Cook me some food. I'm hungry. Diego will stay late at the office today, so serve me. She instructed me like I was her maid. I wanted to talk back but held back from doing such a thing, so I followed her and served her a meal. When I was about to sit and eat with her, she told me that the food was just for her. Do you pay for this food? For sure, this is from my son's pocket, So don't even consider eating because you have yet to pay for this. You have to go out and buy your food, as if you even have money. I slammed the table and left her alone. Bold of her to assume that I don't provide financially for this household. I have work and even bought half of the things in this house. That night, as my husband arrived, I told him I would go to my parents' resort to clear my mind. Are you sure you want to do that? Yes. Everything feels so heavy lately. Okay, my love, I will let you have a vacation, and I promise to come and visit on the weekend. He has always been so supportive of me. So the next day, I went to my parents' hidden beach resort, and before I could leave the house, I heard another insult from my mother-in-law. Thank God she's away. How can she go back? Does she even have money for the fare? For food? I bet she'll die on her cheap getaway. I swear, this is the last insult I'll be hearing from her. As soon as I arrived at the beach resort, the staff welcomed me grandly. I also decided to work as the manager throughout my stay since I'll be there for a week. My husband kept on telling me how annoyed he was with his mother and how much he wants us to move into a separate house. He even apologized that he decided to live with her. The following days were incredible. I have never had the chance to experience tranquility and comfort for over a year now. I miss being here, away from all the mistreatments back home. I was enjoying my cold tea on the balcony when I heard a loud crash, followed by shoutings, swearings, and another crashing. And there was even a threat. I immediately went downstairs and listened to the woman's voice as I walked towards the commotion. This is so unexpected. I will call 911. I'll tell them that your management is horrible and you are trying to poison me. Madam, I only gave you the wrong order and I apologize. It was an honest mistake. I never ever thought of poisoning you. Liar! Where is your manager? I want to talk to them. I want to tell them how terrible they are. I will burn this resort to the ground. I thought this place was grand and exquisite. It is the complete opposite. That's where I stepped in. Excuse me, ma'am. I'm the manager. She looked at me and her eyes widened. She even trembled as I looked at her from head to toe. It was my mother-in-law, and with her were her friends, but she quickly got her pace back. What the hell are you doing here? Of all the places where you can have your cheap vacation, must it be here? Oh well, cheap people go to cheap places. Ma'am, you're talking to our manager and the daughter of the resort's owners. Alexis laughed. She laughed so hard that we even waited for her to stop laughing. You're finally a girl, aren't you? You're such a laughingstock. Her? Daughter of the resort's owners? Oh, hell no. She's a poor provincial girl who happens to marry my son, a wealthy man. She's a gold digger. Who are you calling a gold digger? My daughter? My mother stepped in and walked close to my mother-in-law. I saw Alexis gulp as my mother was highly intimidating. She's your what? She's my daughter. I'm her mother. She's the heir of this resort and our many other businesses. And as long as I can remember, we are not poor. In fact, we don't dig gold. We buy them. Alexis was in complete shock. She can't even say a word for a minute. This can't be. You're joking. Just look at her. Yes, look at me. What can you see? A poor girl who's being abused by her mother-in-law? I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but I'm not the person you think I am. I tolerated your monstrosity, but I had enough. Now look at you. You have a miserable life, picking on women just because you're a petty and jealous. She just stood there with an unexplainable expression on her face. Might it be anger, fear, or disgust? But she's probably embarrassed. So now, what are your bookings again? The receptionist handed me their records. Oh, 4 rooms, and you will pay them all? What a gallant rich woman, I mockingly said. I can see her knees shaking in nervousness. How about we cancel all of them? Have them voided, no refund, and eternal banishment from the resort. Wouldn't that be great? Of course. Thank you for your stay. I hope you enjoyed it. I closed the record book and gave it back to the receptionist. Alexa's friends frowned at what they heard. Alexis immediately begged for forgiveness as she kneeled. Lauren, please, don't do this. I promised my friends that I would pay for this trip. We have come a long way. Don't be so rude. Rude? Are you telling me that I'm rude? Can you remember all the things that you did to me? You mistreated and abused me. Moreover, you insulted me as if my life was nothing compared to yours. You just got to experience a taste of your wrongdoing, and now you're begging for mercy? You deserve that. This is your wake-up call. I left her as she crawled for help and mercy, but I know she is only doing that to save herself from embarrassment. I was walking away when I looked back at her. Oh, I almost forgot. You are going to pay for all the things you have broken. I need the payment by the end of the moment. She bawled her eyes out once again. Please, I don't have enough money left. That is not my problem. From then on, my mother-in-law started to respect me. She never insulted me again. It took her one humbling experience to remind her that being rude and superior to others will eventually lead to your downfall.